I'm back and I'm so excited that I took this break. In this episode, I'm going to share why I decided to take a 2-month break from sharing regular content on my blog and podcast, some decisions I made about Michelle is Money Hungry, specific to just how the business is being run, who I want to serve, and something I'm excited about, which is the fact that I do still want to continue talking about personal finance moving forward. I'm a proud affiliate of Cube Money. It's an app. I love it. I'm obsessed. I've actually been testing it out since I want to say January, and it's so cool because basically it functions like a envelope. It is basically a digital envelope system. I have used envelope systems before. They're clunky, they're awkward. This one is great because it's paired with an FDIC insured bank account. You get a debit card and it's just the coolest product out there. I love fintech for a lot of reasons. I think it opens up tools to people who may really need a different way to do something similar in finance. So definitely check out the Cube app. Go to my show notes to click on the link, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. All right, so I've talked about personal finance since 2012, and as you could imagine, I've changed quite a bit since I began working on this project. In fact, Michelle is Money Hungry is the second name for this website. I've done multiple different projects, I've tested out different things. And one of the things that I realized is that in order for me to stay interested and engaged in this project, that sometimes I just have to take a break. And I noticed that for me, taking a break typically happens at the end of the year. So I work a 10-month year. At the end of the year, November, December, mid January, I'm not really doing work on the blog, the podcast, not doing anything. This year was different, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but this past 12, 14 months wore me out. Like wore my brain out. And so finally, I just felt like it was time to take a break, that I didn't want to push through how I was feeling, and I would be fine. I take breaks all the time, and I'm really glad that I did. And so I took this 2-month break and I recognized a couple things. One, I love podcasting. I love it so much. And it is actually one of my favorite parts of my business for the following reasons. I get to connect with new and interesting people. I love to share a different viewpoint about a topic and kind of get deeper into the subject. I just get to talk to people about topics that I truly care about and reflect my own personal mission and just life experience. So, podcasting I find to be such an empowering and amazing way to share content. However, it takes a lot of time. I'm much faster at it, but it takes time to do these things. 2020 for me was a huge turning point for a number of reasons, personally, professionally. Behind the scenes, I was just really struggling with how to move forward with Michelle is Money Hungry. Like what was the purpose and the point? I didn't want to quit the project. In fact, I was actually dealing with the opposite issue, which was I was just trying to figure out how to move forward as a multi-passionate content creator. I had other content that I wanted to share, and it just didn't feel right to share that other content on this platform. I wanted to talk about Colorado and digital entrepreneurship, and it was just clear that I was resisting putting content on Michelle is Money Hungry because deep down I just felt like there was a mismatch in messaging and that I was just speaking to different audiences. Many of you may not know, but I actually have other niche sites, and I have spent quite a bit of time focusing on Michelle is Money Hungry. But at this point, it runs well. I understand what I'm doing with it. I have a lot of clarity. I still wanted to talk about personal finance. I just wanted to talk about that and that only on Michelle is Money Hungry. The big issue I was dealing with, besides being multi passionate, was I didn't want the topic of entrepreneurship to take over this website. I've actually seen it happen so many times before on other people's platforms, and there's nothing good or bad about it. Like, it's not a right or wrong conversation. I just didn't want that content to take over this website. As much as I wanted to make money with entrepreneurship content, because quite honestly, it's very lucrative, I really felt like I was doing a disservice to a large number of people impacted financially by the COVID crisis. Many of those people being Black and Brown women, women who look like me or have lived similar life experiences to mine. The other issue that I was struggling with was that the content I was creating on Michelle is Money Hungry, like as I took this break, I was doing an audit of what I was sharing. It really required me to react in the moment all the time. I was always in reaction mode, and that is very tiring. All of the content that I worked on for the past year in particular really required me to react in the moment, and honestly that became really tiring to do over and over again. I don't want to always be in reaction mode. I want to give myself the space to reflect and to be a little more deliberate about what I'm doing, but also energetically, I don't think it's healthy to always be reacting. So at the end of March, beginning of April, decided that I would stop working on anything that was a front facing project for this website and podcast. I stopped releasing podcast episodes. I stopped tweeting content. I just stopped. It was a good thing that I did. Instead, I decided to focus on figuring out what is the true purpose and point of Michelle is Money Hungry for me and for the people listening to the show and reading the content on my website. Like, I wanted to have deeper clarity on that. And I wanted to also just rest. Mentally, I needed a rest. So I decided to, after having this rest, that this is a space where I'm sharing unique personal finance content focused on POC and allied financial experiences that may not always get shared. I want to have conversations that are deeper on topics such as the $15 minimum wage debate, debt repayment, women and money, and other financial topics, but I want to lead those conversations with empathy. I would like to be of service in the personal finance space as I grow my income. So there were just some tensions that were occurring behind the scenes with this project. In auditing my content, I also noticed that this website has no pillar content, basically evergreen content. And what I mean by that is there's all these regular questions that people ask over and over again. Honestly, that also helps to monetize a website. But on my website, I have no evergreen content. So I had no posts on how to pay off debt, side hustles, like which ones you should do or how to save. You get the point. With that in mind, I am getting that content onto this website. I think it's helpful. I think it saves me time in terms of answering questions or interacting with people on social media. Maybe they have a question and I have a take on that question, but I can't share it because I don't have the content for it. Again, I wanted to share more nuanced conversations around the fact that I love slow fire, but I've become over time turned off by the concept of regular fire and why that is. The $15 minimum wage debate, I've been mentioning it a lot, and I am excited to have a conversation about that and how I'm sick and tired of hearing saying that people aren't working because they're getting unemployment and they're becoming lazy, which is bullshit. The fluidity in content has also impacted my bottom line on this site. Not gonna lie, I personally really love passive income. I love it. I There is nothing more addicting than waking up to money in your account overnight. Like, it's the best thing ever. I love it so much. And it's very hard to monetize a website like mine to generate sustainable passive income in the way that it's set up now. So, my goal for the next couple of years is to really grow my passive income with my online projects, which has always been a goal. But now I'm being very deliberate about it. Taking this time off has created clarity on what is working, what isn't working, where there is room for growth. I hope you enjoy these money driven conversations from the different voices in the financial space that I'm excited to share with you. I wanted to be really freaking obvious that this is a personal finance brand and to be of service to those who are looking for content that is empathetic and helpful during this stressful time. If you're a content creator and you're wondering, how did this break impact my business in a negative or positive way? Basically hasn't impacted it at all. In fact, I earned the same amount of money. I attracted a major new project that I will be in the process of negotiating the compensation the day after I record this episode. My downloads and page views dipped. I was not marketing that content, so I didn't schedule anything. I didn't do anything. Like, I just let it go. And that was fine, but ultimately it didn't hurt my wallet or actually my visibility. And the reason why is longevity in the space, all the content that I already have out, and interviews and other people sharing what I do. So it was fine. So if you are thinking of taking a break, you're like, Michelle, I'm really tired. I'm so tired of doing all this stuff. Take the break. Take the break. So, what about those other areas of focus that I'm interested in where I'm like, I really want to have these conversations? Well, I have launched another niche site. It's called the Brand Building Lab. And on that site, I will talk about all things entrepreneurship. And I'm really excited about this project because I'm reaching out to really cool and interesting people who are designing their best lives through online entrepreneurship with a specific focus on making sure that I'm always uplifting and elevating the voices of people of color and allies who are doing the work. I'm excited to share people who may not get the type of visibility that a lot of my white friends get just out of just normally. And so I'm super excited about that project. The interviews that I've been working on already have been so good. And so definitely check it out. And it's brandbuildinglab.com. I have a link in the show notes. It's my hope that by separating this content, I'll be better able to serve people. And also, it just a little bit more work on the back end. But for me, I think it serves a better, it like serves everyone better because it's very clear what's what. So, anyway, let me know what you think. If you're interested in online entrepreneurship, definitely check out the Brand Building Lab. And thank you guys for giving me grace to take this break.